Overthinking is when you excessively analyze or dwell on a situation, decision, or worry. It often involves going over the same thoughts repeatedly without reaching a solution, which can lead to stress, anxiety, and sometimes even decision paralysis. Welcome and subscribe the channel. Set time limits. Setting time limits is a practical strategy to manage overthinking by giving yourself a defined period to consider a problem before moving on. Here's how to apply it. Choose a specific time frame. Decide on a reasonable amount of time to think about the issue. This could be 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or even an hour, depending on the complexity of the topic. Set an alarm or timer. Use a timer to keep yourself accountable. When it goes off, you'll know it's time to shift focus. Stay focused on the present during this time. Try to think actively about solutions instead of letting worries loop in your head. If your thoughts start wandering to unproductive worries, gently bring them back to problem solving. Close the loop when your time is up. Consciously decide to leave the issue. Remind yourself that you've done all you can for now, and dwelling on it won't add value. Redirect your energy after your time limit is over. Do something active or engaging to keep your mind occupied, such as exercise, a hobby, or even tackling another task on your list. Setting time limits gives you the structure to think things through, but prevents you from getting caught in the cycle of overthinking. With practice, it can become an effective habit. Focus on solutions, not problems. Focusing on solutions instead of problems is a powerful way to reduce overthinking. Instead of dwelling on what's wrong, you actively look for steps to make things better. Here's how you can shift to a solution-oriented mindset. Define the problem clearly. Write down or think about the specific issue without getting tangled in what-if scenarios. This helps you see the problem objectively. Identify what you can control. Not everything is within your control. Focus on the aspects of the situation that you can influence and let go of the rest. Brainstorm possible solutions. List all potential actions, even small ones. It doesn't matter if they seem simple or complex at first. Getting options down on paper helps move your mind toward action. Evaluate and choose the best option. Look at your list and select the most realistic and effective solution. If it's a big issue, choose a step you can take now rather than aiming for an instant fix. Take action. The most important part. Take a small step, even if it's just a beginning. Progress, no matter how small, reduces the urge to overthink and builds momentum. Reflect and adjust as needed. Check in on how your actions are affecting the problem. If something doesn't work, treat it as information to guide your next step instead of a reason to worry. By focusing on solutions, you take charge and break the loop of overthinking.
Catastrophizing *** is a type of overthinking where you expect the worst possible outcome, even if it's unlikely to happen. It's when you blow things out of proportion and imagine a worst-case scenario, often leading to feelings of anxiety and stress. For example, if you make a mistake at work, instead of just seeing it as a minor error, you might think, **this will cost me my job, even though there's no real evidence that would happen. Or if you're waiting for test results, you might immediately think, **it's going to be bad news, and I won't be able to handle it." Catastrophizing can make situations feel much worse than they are and can prevent you from taking calm, rational steps to resolve the issue. A helpful way to counter it is to challenge those extreme thoughts by asking yourself, **what's the most likely outcome? What evidence do I have that this is going to happen? By grounding yourself in the present reality, you can reduce the impact of catastrophic thinking. Reality check. Focus on what's in front of you, not the what-ifs. Ask yourself if the situation really warrants the catastrophic fear. For example, a small mistake at work doesn't automatically mean you're going to be fired. Break problems into manageable steps. Instead of worrying about everything at once, break down the issue into smaller, actionable steps. Tackling each small piece can make the situation feel more under control and less overwhelming. Limit future tripping. Focus on the present moment instead of imagining how things might go wrong in the future. Practice mindfulness techniques like deep breathing or meditation to bring your focus back to the here and now. Reframe the situation. Try to reframe your thoughts in a more optimistic or neutral way. For example, instead of thinking, "I'm going to fail," reframe it as, "This is a challenge, but I can learn from it and grow." Talk it out. Sometimes, voicing your fears to a friend or therapist can help you see things more clearly. Often, they can help you gain perspective and challenge your catastrophic thinking. Self-compassion: be kind to yourself when you're feeling anxious. Recognize that it's normal to have concerns, but don't let them control you. Remind yourself that you can handle things, even if the worst-case scenario were to happen, which is unlikely. Grounding techniques: if your catastrophic thoughts spiral, grounding techniques like the 5 for 3 to 1 method can help you refocus. Name 5 things you can see. For things you can touch, 3 things you can hear. To things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. This helps bring you back to the present moment and can stop your mind from spiraling. Cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT). If catastrophizing is a recurring issue, CBT is a great way to work with a therapist to reframe your thoughts. CBT teaches you how to identify and change negative thought patterns, including catastrophizing.
Analysis paralysis happens when you overthink a decision to the point where you feel stuck and unable to act. It's like being trapped in a loop of considering every possible option, consequence, or detail, which leads to indecision and inaction. This can happen with big life decisions, like choosing a career path or buying a house, or with smaller decisions, like what to have for dinner. Here are some ways to overcome analysis paralysis. Set a time limit. Give yourself a clear deadline for making a decision. For example, decide that you'll make a choice within 30 minutes or by the end of the day. Having a time limit forces you to move forward rather than endlessly analyze. 2. Prioritize your options. Instead of looking at every single possibility, narrow down the choices to 2 to 3 options that seem the most reasonable. Focusing on a smaller set makes it easier to evaluate and decide. 3. Trust your gut. Sometimes overthinking can get in the way of your intuition. If you feel drawn to a certain option or have a sense of which direction feels right, trust that instinct. Often, your subconscious has already processed the information and is trying to nudge you toward a good choice. 4. Accept imperfection. Realize that no decision is perfect, and there's rarely a right or wrong choice in many situations, just different paths with their own pros and cons. Perfectionism can paralyze you, so remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes or adjust later if needed. 5. Break it down. If the decision feels overwhelming, break it down into smaller steps. Ask yourself, what's the first small decision or action I can take right now? Taking one step forward can reduce the feeling of being stuck and help you make progress. 6. Limit information. Sometimes you overthink because you're bombarded with too much information. Set boundaries on how much research or analysis is needed. For example, give yourself a rule to spend no more than 30 minutes looking up information about a topic before making a decision. 7. Eliminate the what-if. Stop dwelling on hypothetical scenarios. Ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen? Can I handle that? Often, the fear of making the wrong choice is greater than the actual consequences of that choice. 8. Take action. The most effective way to break free from analysis paralysis is simply to make a decision and act. Even if you're unsure, taking one small step will build momentum and show you that you can handle whatever comes next. 9. Seek feedback. Sometimes talking it out with someone else can help. A trusted friend, mentor, or colleague can offer a fresh perspective, making it easier to make a decision and move forward. 10. Practice self-compassion. Remember that making decisions can be hard, and it's okay to make mistakes. Be kind to yourself, and recognize that most choices aren't as high stakes as they might feel in the moment. You can adjust and adapt later if needed.